President Ambrose,
Present.
Vice President Markey,
Present.
Secretary Lawson,
Present.
Trustee Getwood,
Present.
Trustee Jewelry,
Present.
Trustee Johnson,
Present.
Trustee Narcisse,
Present.
Let the record reflect, we do have a quorum. At this time, we will have a public hearing on SABIC reinvestment zone, followed by a public hearing on the application of SABIC America's Growth LLC, followed by public comment and then adjournment. Is there a representative?
Thank you, President Ambrose. It's always great to have new economic development come into our community, and the board has always been very gracious and welcoming for new businesses to come, and that's what we want. If new businesses, there are jobs for our people, our community, and as like tonight, we have Saturday that's coming, so Molly will talk about Saturday, and she'll talk about everything else. Just
Thanks for allowing me to speak tonight. I appreciate it. I'll be fast. I know that we're trying to keep things moving. My name is Molly Hanley. I'm one of the consultants that were engaged by the district to assist with this 313 application process. Very happy to be here tonight to bring this to a successful conclusion. The first public hearing that we are discussing is on the creation of a reinvestment zone. And the reinvestment zone for a project is just a designation by the school district that an area is appropriate for economic development. In a typical process, the company would start either with your city or with the county to start this reinvestment zone process, but because the statute governing school districts expires December 31st, they came to the school district first. So the school district would designate the reinvestment zone, which is a necessary step for the consideration of the agreement, which is further down the agenda. All the reinvestment zone designation does is draw a line on the map. And the map is the site of Motiva Refinery, where the Savic project would be developed. It's exactly coterminous, I suppose is a better word, with the Motiva Refinery boundary. And it doesn't authorize any other company to come in, plop something down without your permission. It just merely says that if Savic builds, they will build there, and they won't build it if they want to be eligible for the 313 agreement. So public hearing is just an opportunity to let your community know that this is under consideration and invite any comment from the community on this.
Yes, thank you. For the record, what is SABIC? What is that for? What's it stand for?
Oh, so I actually will, with your permission, defer to the company representative, but that's their company name.
Okay.
Yes, but would you like to answer this?
Sure, my name is Greg Skelton with SAVIC. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here tonight. SAVIC stands for Saudi Basic Chemical Industry Corporation. We are a Saudi company. We have a long history in the United States. We've been here for over 30 years. In 2007, in fact, SAVIC bought General Electric's plastics business. So a lot of our US assets are former GE assets, but we are also looking to grow in the United States. We've partnered with ExxonMobil on a joint venture down in Corpus Christi, which started production this year, and we have a continued desire to grow in the United States. We are one of the world's largest plastics and chemicals manufacturers, and we certainly look forward to being part of this community should we decide to move forward with the project. Thank you.
would you like to introduce who he has with him tonight and what part they're playing?
Great. Take it away. You already do it.
Sure, thank you. So, my colleagues, Abdul Majid is, please stand, Abdul Majid is one of our lead executives in the United States, and in fact very involved with the new project we started this year in Corpus Christi, and also this one. My colleague Ruth Rendon is our public affairs leader in the region. They just walked down to the back.
Yeah.
Just came from Louisiana. So Brad Sparks is our sustainability leader for the region, and we take sustainability very seriously as a company. And Carlos is involved in our engineering and project management group, and they're the group that actually builds things. We'll be excited to move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And also Steve Coons, I will introduce the lawyer.
See the board yet?
He's here on behalf of this topic as well.
Trustee Gibson.
Hey, just one question. So approximately how many jobs will be projected for the citizens in this community with this project?
Okay, so during construction, at peak construction, there's 1,000 jobs. That would be over a 4-year period, it will ramp up to 1,000 jobs. And then permanent jobs, the company's committed to 10, because that's what the minimum statutory requirement is. And what we've discovered through the multiple years of this project is what the comptroller calls a job and what the rest of the world calls a job are two different things. So they've committed just to the minimum, just to make sure that they meet their reporting requirements. Now, the local commitment to that job development, that will be something done with their county agreements as they develop these down the roads. But there'll be the usual, the commitment to preferred hiring, those kinds of things they'll work out with the county as they do that, preferred vendors and those types of commitments. That they just aren't that far along in their development yet to have fixed terms that we could share with you this evening.
Thank you.
Alright,
Thank you very much.
and then do we want to jump into the application?
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay, so the primary purpose of the public hearing on the application is to share the Texas Comptroller's findings. The first thing that had to happen after the board decided to consider this application was the application was submitted to the comptroller for their economic impact analysis to find out if this is in the best interest of the state. Because you get to decide what's the best interest of your district, but the comptroller gets to say beforehand whether or not this benefits the state. And I'm happy to say the comptroller said, yes, this is a qualifying property. It's a qualifying project. The company is a active tax franchise taxpayer, so they are already contributing to the state of Texas, that they're going to pay more in taxes over 25 years than they'd save if you did approve this limitation. That's how they establish this as a net positive for the state, because they're actually going to pay more than they'd save. And ultimately, without this 313 agreement, it's not likely this project gets developed here. It's a simple truth in the commercial world. The projects that get investment are the ones that's going to offer the most returns. So projects that are able to partner successfully with governmental entities to save money where they can are ones that are more likely to be developed down the road. So that's why the 313 is very important as a tool to encourage new development in the area, because it's a way to make this project more attractive and more feasible. The property tax burden from the school district is the highest. You guys do tax at the highest rate compared to the other governmental entities, but that's because you operate based on tax collections. So you have to levy a tax to keep the doors open. But we answered a lot of the questions about the project initially. They would start construction on their current timeline in the fourth quarter of 2023, but they would take 4 years to become fully operational, and that would assume that they would go online as of January 1st, 2028. At its initial value, that will be another $1.5 billion on the local tax rolls. If you did approve the limitation, it would only show up as $30 million for M&O purposes, but fully taxed for your INS, and that's where this is a benefit to the entire community. Beyond just the jobs that will be coming in and the local spending, you're able to leverage this new value to either lower your tax rate or pay off your debt faster and have those significant savings at the end. So this is why when someone says, why would you give this taxpayer a break and not the entire community? When you attract a project like this, you do give a tax break to the entire community because you're able to leverage this new value without having to go to your homeowners. It is a petrochemical facility. They're going to be manufacturing at all 3 stages, 3 different parts to it. And I will not slaughter, just trust me, it's petrochemicals, but I can't pronounce the words. And we really hope that there's any questions that we can answer that would make you feel more comfortable voting for this tonight. But our firm thinks this is a great deal. The agreement protects the school district, make sure that you share in the benefits that the company saves. If everything goes forward at the estimates that we are currently looking at, the school district would receive an additional $35 million of funding, and this is outside the school funding system. So unlike the tax collections that come in and state aid you get from the state, this is $35 million directly into your general fund that the district gets to decide how to spend. It's not earmarked for special ed, or you get to put it to programs that you need the assistance, or get to use it to offset other costs and improve your long-term spending. But it's a good deal, and we think we've got you protected. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those for you.
Trustees?
Just one concern. It is always great when companies come and they make a lot of promises. And the resources that we provide in this community, we would like to see a true partnership, one that is not just up front, not just, ideally what we're going to do and what you expect is going to happen, but really some commitments to the community. There are a tremendous amount of needs for our children in this community, and we need a company to come in and really partner with the district and with the city. A visible partnership, something that we can see, touch, and feel that will significantly impact this area, because you feel value coming to Port Arthur. You feel value because of the 313, so that's something that you find as an advantage. We're looking for something that will show us exactly the same thing, that we can not only realize here at the district by the funding that we're going to receive, but also see it in the community, where we can start attracting more people to build rooftops here in the city. And there's opportunity, as I see it, and I know we probably couldn't put anything in the language, but this company, my recommendation would be for as many of those that are going to be employed, buy a home here in Port Arthur. That will show and demonstrate the commitment of a partnership. And that would also help our economy as well. Because we want to grow this community, we want to grow this school district, and we want to have the most incredible city on this side of heaven. But we need true partners, not those that are going to come in and take the resource, because we see every day. 5:30 in the morning, we see headlights coming in. 6:30 afternoon, we see headlights leaving. And we don't ever realize those true tax dollars, because they are not stopping here to trade in this community. And we want something that's going to say, you know what, I'm going to encourage my company to continue to trade in the community. We want to make sure we see that tax dollar circulate in the community. That would be a great help.
Certainly, and I agree 100%. Unfortunately, what the school district can, just as you put out, what we can put into our agreement is very limited. And again, this is all going to be speculation because the project is still further down the road. And I don't know if you are prepared to discuss this at all, but have you had any type of other types of commitments you've made?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. As a company, the relationship with the communities in which we operate is extremely important to us. And we have a history in other places where we operate of partnering with local community groups, forming relationships with those groups, supporting them through volunteer activities and through funding. And I think that's the approach that we would seek to bring to this community as well. We make commitments where we operate to hire local as much as we can, so that we are creating jobs to strengthen the community as well. So if we decide to come in, that would be the approach we take. We would have dedicated people in the organization responsible for outreach to the community and to be a good corporate citizen, a good neighbor.
Anyone else? Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak to this public hearing? Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak to this public hearing? And finally, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak to this public hearing? Thank you very much. This public hearing is adjourned. Thank you. Public participation, we have none. Staff reports, Dr. Portery.
Yes, thank you, President Ambrose and board. We've had a wonderful week. Our students have done very, very well. Memorial High School, Memorial 9, Port Arthur Attorney School and Wilson. We're in testing mode, and so far it's been well. We've had our interim testing this week, which will provide us to understand exactly where our kids are in the interim. So before we get started with testing in March, but everything is going well. Tomorrow is our last date of school. Students will get out early, they'll be dismissed early. Staff members will return on January 3rd, and our students will return January the 4th. Along tonight, we have some things on the agenda that we're asking you to approve. We do have G2 Logistics, and we also have another one, Praise God. And as I stated to you all, there's an amendments on there, just the dates. We do have Mark Scoble, who is a very supporter of the Port Arthur School District. He is the plant manager of Valero. So Mark, I'm going to ask him during my public participation, if you'd like to come and say a couple of words. You can introduce. That's a step.
Well, so my name is Mark Scoble, the Vice President and General Manager at the Valero facility here. Thank you for having me tonight. And to talk about our Diamond Green Diesel project that we have supported. We were fortunate this year. It was extremely dry year, and there wasn't a lot of rain, so our productivity was extremely high this year, and we finished our project about 3 months ahead of time. We started up almost a month ago, and the unit is up and operational, and we're making renewable diesel products. So one thing I can say about our commitment to hiring Port Arthur residents through the course of this entire year, we've hired 96 new employees, and 30% of those were Port Arthur residents. So we're doing our best to actively get out there and encourage people to apply through all the different organizations at Lamar and all the other schools. But I think the project was a success, and it was people in this community that helped us make it. So if there's any questions about the project itself.
Trustees?
Thank you, Mark. Okay. That concludes our staff reports.
Thank you, Dr. Portery. Minutes. Consider and if appropriate approve minutes of the November 17, 2022 regular board meeting and the December 12, 2022 board meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the minutes for the November and December board meetings. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those minutes are approved. Consent agenda. The following items, which are of a routine and or recurring nature, have been designated consent agenda items by the board president per policy BE local. All of the items in the consent agenda will be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a trustee, in which event the item or items will be withdrawn immediately for individual consideration in a small sequence after the items not requiring separate discussion have been acted upon. Trustees, if you will take a few minutes and review agenda items 1 through 6 and 11 through and 1 through 6 and 12 through 13. Review those, please, and then I will ask for a motion. 1 through 6 and 12 and 13. We are pulling agenda items 7 through 11.
Yes.
Okay? 1 through 6 and 12 through 13. I will entertain a motion when ready.
Make a motion.
It's been motioned and seconded that we approve consent agenda items 1 through 6 and 12 and 13. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The agenda items are approved. Trustees, if you will review items 7 through 11, at which time I will call for a motion for approval on items 7 through 11.
Ready to make a motion?
Second.
I would like to recuse myself from voting because SAVIC is a sister employee to Motiva and I am an employee of Motiva.
Let the record reflect Mr. Lofton is recusing himself for the vote.
I would like to recuse myself from the vote as well for SAVIC being a refinery industry itself, and also for Diamond Green Diesel being an entity of Valero Refinery in which I am employed.
Let the record further reflect that Trustee Johnson is recusing herself from the vote as well. All those in favor? All those in favor? Aye. Agenda items 7 through 11. Second, approved. They're approved, items 7 through 11. Dr. Porter, personnel.
Yes, President Ambrose, Board, you do have the name of the NJROTC for the position.
Okay, is there a motion?
Madam President, there's a motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we do accept the recommendation to replace the vacancy for the ROTC. All those in favor say aye. Dr. Porter, information.
Yes, average daily enrollment, 8,066, average daily attendance, 96.10.
Thank you. Before I call for an adjournment, I'd like to let the record reflect. We have a trustee here that will be leaving us after tonight. It's been a pleasure to serve with him. He will be assuming a new JP's position, that would be Trustee Hillary. So I'd like to openly congratulate him and wish him well on his new position. Trustee Hillary, is there something you'd like to say?
Yes, I just would like to everyone here, the board members, the administration. It has truly been a joy to serve in this capacity. It's an honor and a privilege, and one that I don't take lightly, and I'm encouraged. I'm looking forward to the new endeavors, and I wish all of you well.
Good luck to you. Thank you. On that note, I will call for adjournment.
Motion.
Merry Christmas to you all.